Welcome to part 3. Murder off Miami. Dennis Wheatley. I'm reading this along with you. I'm not skipping ahead, so I'm reading this for the first time as I present it to you. This is part 3. And I will put up some fancy clip art later because the videos take about 3 hours to upload. But I'm going to post this up here to read, and then this one too, and I'll fancy it up. I've got 3 hours because the video will take that long to upload. So this is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Cry, STINA. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smanchy stuff going on here. And so our victim is Bolitho Blane, owner of a British soap company. The police are Police Officer Kettering of the Florida Police, Detective Officer Neame. I think that's they should have given him a better name than Neame. Police Surgeon Jacket, Station Photographer Southwold, Officer Gurdon of the Uniform Branch, and the suspects: Captain Derringham, Carlton Rocksavage, owner of the yacht and owner of the American soap company, the rival company. Ferri Rocksavage is daughter of Carlton. Your passengers are Lady Welter, Honorable Reginald Jocelyn, son-in-law of Lady Welter, Miss Pamela Jocelyn, her daughter, Bishop Bude, Bude, Count Luigi Posodini, Inosuke Hayashi, and Nicholas Stodart, the secretary of Blane. And so far we have met Silas Ringbottom, the crew. And then I have a list of all the documents. So we'll post this up, hopefully. All right, so we are on our second set of documents here. And where is it? Like I said, I'm doing this with you. And we showed, the last document we showed was the layout of the ship. We can do this. Okay, that was the last one we showed. So that was number 10. So this is going to be 11. All these are in pieces here. I want to make sure I keep them in order. Okay, so this is document 11. Detective Office names, shorthand notes of Detective Officer Kettering's examination of the cabin steward Silas Robinson. Morning, Ringbottom. Good morning, sir. Have you been on board the ship long? Yes, sir. Ever since Mr. Rocksavage bought her, and before that too, with the previous owner, Lord Fawkes. Foulkes. I am an ex-Navy man, and this is my first job on leaving the service. Good. Well, there were just one or two things I want to ask you about this affair that occurred last night. According to what you told me, after you had been to Mr. Blane's suite to inquire if he wanted you to unpack, you went straight back to your pantry, did a few odd jobs there, and then read a book until the dinner bugle sounded. Is that correct? Yes, sir. You quite sure you never left the pantry of yours? I am not trying to pin anything on you. Don't think that, but I want you to be quite certain that you're not making any mistakes. Wait a minute, sir. I did leave it just once to slip up to the writing room to get some sheets of notepaper for the Japanese gentleman. He asked for it earlier on, but I found the racks were empty, and as the chief steward has been ashore at Miami, the storeroom was locked. When the Jap rang for me again later, though, the chief steward was back again in his cabin, and he gave me some from the store. What time was that? A bit before 8 bells, sir. Just before 8 o'clock? Yes, and apart from that, you never left your pantry. No, that's the truth, sir. Yeah, I'm getting a little suspicious now, this cabin guy. What were you doing that you don't want anybody to know about? No, that's the truth, sir. Who else was on duty at the time? Only me, sir. The other stewards who helped with the cabins was at their job of laying up for dinner then. And the stewardess Maud Briggs, we'll have to write this down. Maud Briggs is the stewardess. I did not know a serving person on a yacht was called a stewardess. I only thought a stewardess for this airplane. I did not know this. Would have been on duty, went down with shingles 2 days ago, so she's in the sick bay. Fortunately, there's only 3 ladies aboard, and 2 of them have their own maids, so they're looking after the other lady between them. Can you bring anybody to prove that you were in your pantry during all that time? Well, maybe it's luck for me, sir. In the ordinary way, I wouldn't be able to. The stewardess being ill, but as it happens, I can. Syd Jenks. Alright, let me write this down. Syd Jenks. The ship carpenter. There's a carpenter on a yacht. Was doing a job of work in the passageway during the whole of that time, and we passed the time of day, as you might say, quite frequent while he was at it. He knows I never left my pantry except to get the Jap his notepaper, not before the dinner bugle went. Did it strike you as unusual that Mr. Blane's cabin door was locked when you went to tidy it up? No, sir, not particular. Visitors vary. Some open-handed, some not. Some suspicious, some not. Visitors who haven't sailed with us before sometimes lock their cabin doors for the first day or 2 out. Then they don't bother no more. I don't think of it. I just unlocked the door with my master key and went straight into the room. That's good. Now, from your pantry, you can't see the door of Mr. Blane's suite, can you? No, sir. You see, my pantry's on an inside cabin, so I can't see around the corner along the passageway. No, that's quite obvious from the ship's plans I've got in front of me. So you wouldn't be able to see if anyone approached Mr. Blane's cabin from the lounge, would you? No, sir. But you would be able to see anybody who came the other way, from the forward companionway, which leads to the upper and lower decks, wouldn't you? I would that, sir. Was your pantry door open the whole time? Yes, sir. Now think carefully, Ringbottom. Think carefully. Think about this. Did you see any member of the crew or any other person come either up or down the companionway and press your door going in the direction of Mr. Blane's cabin between 7:45 and 8:30 p.m. last night? Only Miss Rocksavage's maid, sir, going along to dress her, no one else. But you would have if they had. Yes, sir. I couldn't have helped seeing them. Right, that's all I want to know. Detective Officer named shorthand notes of Detective Officer Kettering's examination of Syd Jenks, the ship's carpenter. Good morning, Jenks. Good morning, sir. How long have you been on board this ship? Just on 2 years, sir. Ever since Captain Derringham took over. He brought me with him from his previous ship, the Southern Cross. Right. Do you mind telling me where you were between 7:30 and 8:30 last night? I was fitting new skirting boards to the stewardess' pantry on A deck just before 7:30, sir. From where you were working, could you see the door of Mr. Blane's suite? No, sir. I was working on the starboard side, just across from the forward companionway. Was the companionway in your view the whole time? Yes, sir. Did you see anyone go up or down it during the time you were working there? Lady Welter's maid went up just after I set to work, just after 7:30? Yes, sir. Then Nellie Orde, Miss Rocksavage's maid. Oh, we got a new character. Nellie Orde, Miss Rocksavage, maid. So I'll add this to my list when I put the thing up. Miss Rocksavage maid came up to dress her mistress much later on. About 8:10, I should say. Anyone else? Let me get this out. This is all tied together. Old-fashioned one. No, sir. Could you see the entrance of the steward's pantry from where you were? Yes, sir. It was just across the companionway on the port side. Was there anyone there, do you know? Yes, sir. The cabin steward, Mr. Ringbottom. Was he in the pantry the whole time you were at your job? Yes, sir, except when he went to enter the Japanese gentleman's bell and then off to the chief steward to get some notepaper from him out of the store. He remarked, I remember about the slackness of the lounge steward in letting it run out in the writing room because someone else had asked for some earlier in the afternoon when the chief steward was ashore and there wasn't none. What time was that? I'm afraid I couldn't say, sir. Can you give me any idea? I'd hardly like to say the time, you see. I didn't notice particular being busy on my job. Was it before or after 8? Oh, before 8. Maybe a quarter to, but I wouldn't like to say for certain. Ringbottom was away about 5 minutes then, but all the rest of the time he was in his pantry because although we couldn't see each other every now and then, we exchanged remarks. Did you see anybody else in the passageway during the time you were working there? Only the bishop, sir. He went up. That was at 8 o'clock because I heard the ship's bell strike immediately after. But various other people must have been coming down from the lounge or going back up to it during that time. That's true, sir. This is a reminder. Okay, I lost my spot. Only the bishop, sir, when he went up. That was at 8 o'clock, because I heard the ship's bell strike immediately after. Various other people must have been coming down from the lounge or going back up to it during that time. That's true, of course, but the companionway lounge to the lounge is way aft, nowhere near where I was. I heard cabin doors shutting now and then, but you see, I had my back to the passageway most of the time, and I didn't take much notice what happened behind me, being busy with my job. What time did you stop work? Just after the dinner bugle at 8:30. Right, that's all I want to know. Thank you, Jenks. You're welcome, sir. Alright, and this is a picture of Miss Ferri Rocksavage. I may have to. Here, let me do it on this side just in case I put the stuff over here. So I'll put this over here, Ferri Rocksavage. Ferri Rocksavage. Retake from photograph in father's cabin. Detective Officer named shorthand notes of Detective Officer Kettering's examination of Miss Ferri Rocksavage. Good morning, Miss Rocksavage. Come right in. Good morning. Come and sit down. There are a few questions I want to ask you about this unfortunate business last night. Certainly, anything I can do. Would you tell me, Miss Rocksavage, what you were doing and where you were from the time the yacht sailed until you went to dinner? When the ship left Miami, I was sitting on the port deck with Mr. Jocelyn. Did you see Mr. Blane come aboard? No. We were on the port side of the ship, that is. We were facing out to sea. We sat there until 7:15, and then we both went to our cabins. I got interested in a book, so I was a little late in changing and didn't get up to the lounge until about 8:40. The other guests were all there except Mr. Bolitho Blane, Bolithoblane, and his secretary, neither of them whom I met, and I was just looking around for my father when the steward came up with a message from him. He said to me, Mr. Rocksavage says, Miss, would you please take everybody in to dinner? Mr. Blane has had a heart attack, so we are returning to Miami. And then what happened? I did as my father had asked me to do, and I didn't know anything about what really happened until father told us after we had anchored off Miami again, just a few minutes before the police came on board. He told her he'd had a heart attack. That's contradicting the statement of possible suicide. That's a question. Why did the guy tell her the other guy had a heart attack when the body was missing? And they presumed a suicide. Why did they contradict that information there? That's a question. We anchored off Miami again just a few minutes before the police came on board. Did you know of any special reason for this trip? No. Are you certain of that? Well, it's just a pleasure trip, like lots of others we've had on the yacht. But as there were several strangers on board, I naturally assumed that some big business deal would be discussed during the time we were at sea. Father often uses these trips to entertain people with whom, if he were seen ashore, comment might be aroused which would affect the markets. I see. Thank you, Miss Rocksavage. That will be all. And Honorable R. Jocelyn. Detective Officer named Shorthand Notes of Detective Officer Kettering's examination of the Honorable Reginald Jocelyn. Good morning, Mr. Jocelyn. Now, I'd like you to tell me anything you can about this unfortunate affair last night. I'm afraid I can't tell you anything. Well, let's hear what you were doing between the time of the ship sailing and your going to dinner. When the ship sailed, I was sitting on deck with Miss Rocksavage. We stayed there until the ship was well out to sea, and somewhere about 7:30, we went down to our cabins to change for dinner. I came up to the lounge at 8:30, and Mr. Rocksavage soon arrived after. A steward spoke to him, and he went below. Then a message came up that Mr. Blane was ill, so we were returning to Miami. After that, we went into dinner. Do you always take an hour to change your clothes? Sometimes an hour, sometimes two, if I feel like it. No need to get fresh now. Were you changing all that time? I don't see what the devil it's got to do with it, but if you must know, I spent a long time in the bath. He was taking a bubble bath, maybe. Thanks. Now, this trip, you were in on the object of it, were you? I don't understand what you mean. Oh, yes, you do. Bolitho Blane and Carlton Rocksavage were using this as a meeting to patch up a truce in the commercial war they've been waging. Oh, that, yes. That, yes. How much more did you know about it? Nothing except that Lady Welter, my mother-in-law, has a very large holding in the Rocksavage companies, and that she always likes me to stand by that so that I can advise her where business interests are concerned. Right, that'll do for the moment, Mr. Jocelyn. Now, wait a second. I want to go back to this for a second. I just thought of something. Wait a second. All right. So the other guests were all there except Mr. Bolitho Blane, a secretary, whom I met, and I was looking around for my father when the steward came up. A message to him. Mr. Blane had a heart attack. So that was where was she when she got the message? Because if she was, all right, we sat there until 7:15, and then we both went below to our cabins. Got interested in the book, so I was a little late in changing, and I didn't get up to the lounge till 8:40. The other guests were all there except Mr. Bolitho and Blane, neither of them who we met, and I was just looking around for my father when the steward came. So we're saying after 8:40, right? That's what she said. Then wait a second. Okay, so he said, we stayed up there and we stayed there until the ship was well out to sea, somewhere around 7:30. She said 7:15. He said 7:30. And he said he went up to the lounge at 8:30, and Mr. Rocksavage arrived soon after, and a steward spoke to him, and he went below. Then a message came up that Mr. Blane was ill. Okay. So that's clearing up that part. All right, wait a second. Alright, so then we have a picture of Lady Jocelyn. Detective Officer names shorthand notes of Detective Officer Kettering's examination of the Honorable Miss Reginald Jocelyn. Good morning, Miss Jocelyn. Sit down, won't you? Thank you. Now, just what can you tell me about this unfortunate affair last night? Nothing at all, I'm afraid. It would help me to check on things if you wouldn't mind giving me your movements from this time the ship sailed until you went into dinner. I'm afraid that's not going to help you much. After all, it's quite clear that this Mr. Blane took his own life, isn't it? Sure, Miss Jocelyn. It's only a matter of routine procedure that I have to bother everybody like this. Just where did you happen to be when the yacht left Miami? I was in the lounge with Mr. Posodini. Anyone else there? No, not until Mr. Rocksavage arrived. What happened then? We had more drinks and talked for a bit. Then Mr. Blane's secretary came in and introduced to us. There was some talk about his sending a message down to Mr. Blane, and just after that, I said I must go down and change for dinner. Count Poseidon said that he thought he would too, so we went below together. What time was that? About 10 minutes to 8. And then I changed and came up to the lounge with my husband again just as the dinner bugle sounded at 8:30. A few minutes later, a steward came in and spoke to Mr. Rocksavage, who had just come in, and they both went below together. Yes, go on, please. I was talking to my mother when a message came up from Mr. Jocelyn Rocksavage that Mr. Blane had come some sort of attack, and so we were returning to Miami. Ferri Rocksavage said that we had better go into dinner without her father, so we went in. Just when did you know the real cause of the trouble? Not until the yacht was anchored off Miami again. Mr. Rocksavage told us and said the police would be coming on board in a few minutes. Good. Now, did you regard this as just a pleasure trip? Not altogether. I know that my mother has a big interest in the Rocksavage companies, and as Pamela Blane was expected to join us at Miami, I thought there might be something in the wind. Anyone who would know Blane and Rocksavage were in two soap kings. But I wasn't particularly interested because it's not really anything to do with me. Your husband advises your mother through where her financial interests are concerned, doesn't he? Yes, sir. We both go with mother quite a lot on social parties where no business comes under discussion at all. Thank you, Miss Jocelyn. That'll do for the present. Hmm. And I'll just show this. This is Lady Welter. Oh, she's got a very. All right, let's leave this. Let's leave this tomorrow. It's a long segment. All right. So we will talk about Lady Welter tomorrow in part 4. So what do you think so far? Do you know who the murderer is? Have you found any contradicting statements? Have you found anything that confuses you? Talk about it in the comments. Have a good one.